Experts warn gas prices here in California could skyrocket 75% in 2026.
A gallon of gas could climb as high as $8.43 per gallon. Michael Miche is an associate professor at USC's Marshall School of Business. He says gas prices could see a significant spike next year as a result of California losing 2 refineries in the coming months.
Every time gas prices jump in California, it feels chaotic. One day prices are steady, the next they're climbing fast, with no clear explanation. But what if these spikes aren't accidents at all? What if the system is doing exactly what it was built to do? California's fuel market doesn't handle stress the same way other states do. Instead of allowing shortages to appear, it uses price as a pressure valve. When supply tightens even slightly, prices rise immediately to slow demand. The pumps stay full, but drivers pay the difference. This is why California almost never runs out of gas, yet consistently runs among the most expensive places to fill up. The system sacrifices affordability to preserve availability, and once prices rise, they rarely fall quickly, because the same pressures never fully disappear. If you've ever wondered why gas prices in California feel harsh, unforgiving, and fast-moving, the answer isn't mismanagement or randomness, it's design. And once you understand how that design works, the pattern becomes impossible to ignore. Price spikes are a feature, not a glitch. In many states, gas shortages show up as empty pumps. In California, they show up as higher prices. That difference is critical to understanding why spikes happen so often and why they feel so aggressive. California's fuel system is structured to avoid visible shortages at almost any cost. When supply tightens, instead of allowing stations to run dry, prices are allowed and expected to rise quickly. Higher prices reduce demand just enough to keep fuel flowing. From a system perspective, this is a success. From a driver's perspective, it's punishment. How tight supply turns price into a control lever. California operates with very little excess fuel capacity. Refineries run near their limits. Storage is constrained. Imports take time. There is no quick backup. When supply tightens even slightly, the system has only one fast response tool: price. Prices rise not because fuel is gone, but because fuel might become scarce. This preemptive pricing keeps stations stocked, but it shifts the burden onto consumers. Why shortages are rare and spikes are common? Drivers often ask why California doesn't just import more fuel during disruptions. The answer is timing and specification. California's fuel blend is specialized, and importing takes weeks, not days. Prices respond in hours. Because prices move faster than ships, markets raise prices immediately to control demand. This avoids empty stations, but ensures higher costs. The result is a state that almost never runs out of gas, and almost never enjoys cheap gas either. The hidden trade-off nobody talks about. California has chosen reliability over affordability. Fuel availability is protected by allowing prices to float aggressively. Other states may tolerate brief shortages or rationing during disruptions. California avoids those outcomes by letting prices do the rationing instead. This trade-off is rarely discussed publicly, but it defines the entire system. Why price increases feel instant. When supply tightens, wholesale markets react immediately. Retailers follow quickly to avoid losses. There is no reason to wait, because delays risk selling fuel below replacement cost. In a tight system, replacement fuel is always uncertain. This is why prices jump overnight. Why price drops take longer. When supply improves, uncertainty does not disappear. The system remains tight. Another disruption could occur at any moment. Because of this, prices fall slowly. Retailers and wholesalers leave a cushion in place, knowing the system cannot tolerate surprise. This creates the familiar pattern: fast up, slow down. The role of risk premiums. Markets price risk. In California, risk is constant. Aging infrastructure, limited redundancy, regulatory complexity, and long-term uncertainty all increase perceived risk. That risk is built into prices even during calm periods. Drivers are paying not just for fuel, but for the possibility that something might go wrong. Why nothing happening still costs more. Even on days with no outages, no storms, and no crises, prices remain elevated. That's because the system never relaxes. Calm conditions don't create surplus fuel. They simply prevent further tightening. Without surplus, prices cannot fall far. This is why relief is shallow and temporary. How policy shapes price behavior. Policy choices influence how much flexibility exists in the system. Over time, California has prioritized environmental and regulatory goals that reduce supply adaptability. These goals may be intentional, but they come with consequences. One of those consequences is a market that adjusts through price instead of volume. When volume cannot adjust, price must. Why demand still has the upper hand? Despite progress in electric vehicles, gasoline demand remains strong. Millions of drivers still rely on internal combustion vehicles. As long as demand remains steady and supply remains tight, price will continue to be the balancing mechanism. The consumer experience. For drivers, the experience feels unfair. Prices spike with little warning, drops feel insignificant, stability feels impossible. But from the system's perspective, this behavior prevents collapse. That doesn't make it acceptable, but it explains it. Why this pattern will continue. Unless California adds significant flexibility or reduces demand rapidly, price-based rationing will remain the default response. Spikes are not signs of failure. They are signs of stress management. What drivers should understand. When prices spike, it doesn't mean fuel is gone. It means the system is protecting itself. Understanding this explains why spikes feel relentless and why they happen so quickly. The long-term outlook. As long as infrastructure ages, capacity remains limited, and demand persists, prices will continue to react sharply to even minor stress. Stability requires slack. Slack is what California lacks. California gas prices don't spike because of chaos. They spike because the system is engineered to react through pricing rather than shortages. Availability is preserved. Affordability is sacrificed. And until the structure changes, drivers will continue paying the cost of a system designed to protect fuel supply, not fuel budgets.